Hello, Dr. Dolly. I was wondering if it would be possible to make a 529 account for myself. I don't have a child, but I'm planning on having a child in the future. And so I could be able to contribute money to this fund, let it grow until the day I have a child, and then just transfer it to them. What do you think?
Good question, Marcus. Yes, you can open a 529 for yourself. Yes, you can change the beneficiary to your child. You probably will not get any sort of state tax break for contributing money to a 529 for an adult like yourself. So keep that in mind. But more philosophically, let's step back for a minute and try to figure out what you're trying to accomplish. Is the goal here really to get as much money into 529s as you can? Because if it is, you can put every dollar you ever earn into a 529. Truthfully, think about it, right? There are limits on how much you can put into a 529, right? But those limits are state specific, and there's 50 states, right? You can open a 529 in every state, and you can open one for all your nieces and nephews and siblings and you and your spouse and your kids and your grandkids. You can put all your money into 529s. You really can. And so I don't know what you're worried about. Are you worried that you're not going to be able to get enough money into there during the 18 years of the kid's life in order to pay for college? I mean, think about that, right? Year one, right? That kid's born, you get the Social Security number, you open the 529 account. If you're married, you can put in, right, $15,000 for you, and you can put in another $15,000 into your spouse's 529 for each year. And you can front load that for 5 years when you first open the account. So that's $75,000 a piece, $150,000 that you can put in there when your child is born, right? They're still breastfeeding. You got $150,000 in their 529. 5 years later, you can put in another $150,000. Okay. What do you suppose that grows to over 18 years? If you're putting in $30,000 a year into 529s, it's a lot of money. It's $1 million or more. Right? It's going to pay for every educational need they have, and you're going to have a ton left over for your grandkids that you can change the beneficiary to. And now you're asking, well, that's not enough. I got to get more in there. I got to put some in there before the kid's even born. Really? You really have to do that in order to meet your educational goals for this kid? I kind of doubt it. So if I were you, I would use that money for other financial goals for now. I would put that money toward your own retirement accounts if you're not maxing those out, paying off your student loans, paying off your mortgage, beefing up your emergency fund, saving up for a Tesla, going on a great vacation, saving for your own retirement, some additional money, going out and buying some rental properties, whatever you want. And then when the kid comes, then start putting some money into a 529. But start with the end in mind. Think about how much you want to have in there when they turn 18 and work your way backwards to see how much you got to put in there and when. It may be a lot less than you think. My kids, we originally thought they were probably only going to have enough in there for enough to pay undergraduate tuition here in Utah, which is not that much money. It's somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on the institution, for 4 years. So that was kind of the amount we were thinking initially for having in 529s, $40,000 or $50,000 a kid. We ended up putting more money than that in there, but I keep running into these people with $450,000, $600,000 going into 529s. And I'm just trying to figure out where they're trying to send their kids to school. The very most expensive undergraduate school in the country and the very most expensive medical school in the country. Is that really the plan? You just don't need that much money in 529s. It's probably not a great place to put money that's not for education. And so I wouldn't go crazy trying to get extra money in there. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dolly, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.